What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of Sands and Friends podcast. You guys are in for a treat. I'm going to do a career chronicle today, and the person we're going to be covering is a guy who transferred high schools his senior year, was ineligible, and still got a scholarship. You want to find out who that is? Stay tuned. Thank you guys for tuning in. All my new listeners, you know you guys are always welcome here. If you didn't know, now you know. All my returning listeners, you know how good it is and how good it gets here. So, hey, thank you guys for returning. Our person we're going to cover today is none other than me, Terrence Sanders, guys. So we're going to go over my career chronicle today. Appreciate you guys tuning in, learn a little bit more about Sands and a little bit more about your host, okay? I was born November 23rd, 1983 in Bradenton, Florida, home of Peter Ward, Tommy Frazier, and Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie. A couple others NFL players made it from here, but those are the most popular guys. I've never been married, but I do have two kids, Tiana and Kai. Tiana's 14, Kai is less than a year old as of right now. In high school, I attended Palmetto High School, the Tigers. I was freshman on varsity, played varsity as a freshman. I had 5 interceptions as a defensive back, 5 INTs my freshman year. My sophomore year, didn't do so hot. Played well, but only had 2 interceptions that sophomore year. I was primarily a defensive back. My junior year is when things started to pick up. That's when I got to play a little bit more wide receiver and hold down that defensive back position as well. Junior year, I had 8 interceptions, 8 INT. Snagging stuff. That's why I call that pick 6 segment. I was snagging all right. Then I had 27 catches for 337 yards and 3 touchdown catches. I also returned punts that year too. That year I made 3rd team All-State and honorable mention special team. My senior year, oh man, things got interesting. My senior year, I decided to transfer high schools and leave Palmetto and go to a bigger school, aka Manatee High School, the Hurricanes. Went there. I was ruled ineligible by FHSAA. They got all in my business. They was like, no, your uncle coaches for the team. You were recruited. You're ineligible. So upon learning that I was ineligible, I was like, well, what options do I have? They were like, you got the option to go back to your school or go to another school within the district or out of the district. You got those options. So I was about to go to Cardinal Mooney, but I went back to Palmetto. So going back to Palmetto, the coach was mad at me for missing spring ball. I'm like, dude, I was in the process of transferring and everything. You can't penalize me for that. Like, hell, you were here. So he gave me a punishment of 10 polls per day for every practice I missed. I'm like, dude, I wasn't even enrolled in the school missing. How you going to count those practices? 27 practices, you got 10 polls. Down and back up the telephone pole. You got a bear crawl up the telephone pole with the big old telephone pole in between you. You can't lay on it. You can't lean on it. It don't count. You got to crawl all the way over there. So, it's harder when you got to keep the width, okay? It's easy to bear crawl inside, but when you got to do it outside, you feeling everything burning. I had 270 total poles to bear crawl. I said, I'm not doing that. So I just end up going back to Manatee High School just as a regular student. That cost me my senior year of football. So the recruiting process was hell on your boy. The recruiting process was so crazy for me. I didn't have any film my senior year. So nobody wanted to take a chance on me when they said they can take a chance on a guy who they can see play their senior season. Yeah, you got good junior film, but what are you going to do your senior year? Oh, that's right. You're going to sit out. So a lot of schools passed on me. I was getting recruited by Arizona State, Marshall, Central Florida, Vanderbilt, and a little small school, the McKendree Bearcats. They was really after me. They really wanted me bad. But Eastern Illinois popped up on the list later on. Vandy was about to sign me, but they switched coaches in the middle of the recruiting process. So I called up there to the office, talked to the new coaches, and they were like, you're nowhere on our radar, so we can't use you. There goes my D1 scholarship. In comes Eastern Illinois. Eastern Illinois was ranked number 2 in 1AA at that time, okay? So Coach Rock came, sat on my couch. I signed with them without ever taking a visit to East. Never did any college visits. They came to my living room. I was like, hey, you came to my living room like boys in the hood? I'm signing with your school. You're the only school that came to my living room, Eastern Illinois. So I signed with them and Tony Romo, okay? So I signed with Eastern Illinois. The only logical thing to do. I got to play as a freshman there too. So obviously I had some skills. I had sat out a whole year. I was rusty, but I was still able to play. My freshman year at EIU, my first college game was against Hawaii. We had Tony Romo there, like I said. We made the playoffs, lost in the first round. I had 30 tackles and 2 pass breakups that freshman year. Didn't get to get my hands on too many interceptions. We had 2 upperclassmen that were starting. I was the nickel guy. So I did not know how to cover no slot. Boy, I did not know how to cover no slot until I got to arena. I did not understand the game of slot. I was the outside corner. I was always on the outside or moved to safety in high schools. Being in that slot, I did not know how to cover. I was in for a treat. Illinois State hit me on a drag route and got 30 yards off a drag route. Coach was so mad at me. But yeah, freshman year was crazy. Traded coaches. I lost my DB coach. Got in another coach my sophomore year. I played through injuries that year. I was banged up, had hurt my knee. Pushed through it that year. I was just in pain. I had 42 tackles, 1 interception, 1 fumble recovery for a touchdown, and I broke up 4 passes that sophomore year. That junior year, I came back to play, but I was hurting. I was damaged goods. So I played the first 2 games, and I didn't do nothing. I was ineffective, so they was able to redshirt me. I was able to redshirted that junior year, and man, things got crazy. I was lost. I was lost. It was sad times. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I'd never been hurt before. Didn't know how to recover. Thought it was the end of my career. I went and signed up to be an actor and a model. Go put my talents. I'm going to take my talent to television. But mom's had other plans. She's like, you're not doing that. You're going to go finish that school and you're going to play football and da-da-da-da-da. So I ended up dropping the acting career, go ahead and picking football back up again. Came back my red shirt junior year, focused, refreshed, ready, healthy. We went undefeated in conference play, knocked off everybody, 8-0 in the OVC, whooped everybody, anybody you can name, EKU, Jacksonville State, Tennessee State, SEMO, Murray, everybody whooped up on them. We lost in the first round of the playoffs to Southern Illinois that year. I had 35 tackles, 2 interceptions, and 9 pass breakups that junior year, okay? Incoming senior season, my final season, my red shirt senior season at Eastern Illinois. We lost 1 conference game to Tennessee Martin. I don't want to say that too loud. Tennessee Martin. They beat us. But we lost also in the first round of the playoffs to Illinois State in my final college game of my career. In that game, I had an 87-yarder. Pick 6. That's what I do. I try to tell you. You ain't throwing that ball on. You ain't gonna make no living throwing that ball over here at me, okay? No. You better go to the other side over there. You ain't gonna make no living throwing that ball over here. You might can sneak 1 in a quarter, but that's about it. That senior year, I had 20 total tackles, 3 INTs, and 7 pass breakups, and 1 touchdown. Also, 1 QB sack. I finished my college career at Eastern Illinois, 127 total tackles, 6 interceptions, 22 passes broken up, and 3 defensive touchdowns. Then went to the draft. Went to the draft in 2007, and I went undrafted. There was only 1 team at our college pro day, the Indianapolis Colts, and they didn't take anybody from us. So that left me scrambling, trying to figure out what I'm going to do, how I'm going to get to play. I had to make a decision. Did I want to play or did I retire? I sat out 1 year out of college. Then I trained with my uncle down here in Florida. Took 1 year off, but I was working. I was working hard, working out, trying to get that next opportunity to play football. Ended up going to 2 tryouts. I went to 1 in Atlanta, NFL Regional Combine. I ran pretty good. I did pretty good. They had measurables that you had to meet in order to qualify to move on to the ultimate combine at Indy. And I didn't hit a couple of those numbers. I didn't make it during that one, but I had great field performances out there. The next workout I went to was the Arena Bowl, Arena Football, the championship, the Super Bowl in Arena Football is called the Arena Bowl. I went to the Arena Bowl workout in New Orleans, worked out, did good. They called me out, said, hey, we need to see you matched up, number 151 with number 75. I was like, well, who is this guy? He must be somebody. If they calling me to match up with him, they put us together. Man, we did 2 awesome reps, I had 2 awesome reps. The guy I had to press him. He was stationary. He beat me off the line. Everybody was like, woo. I was like, it ain't over. Came back, got that boy. The ball was late. He tried to catch it back here. Swatted that out of there. They like, no, y'all go again. I was like, ain't no problem. So I played off on him this time. I was like, he quick. He ain't finna me out here in front of everybody again. Came at me. He ran a post in a corner. I I just stayed square, shuffled inside, broke to the outside. We both had our hands on the ball. I tried to get it, but we both had it. So I dropped it, and coach was like, I'm gonna give you this card. You give me a call. Utah Blaze, Hunky Cooper, gave me a card. Arena Legend, played with Arizona Rattlers, gave me a card for Utah Blaze. He said, give me a call. I give him a call. They fly me out to Utah for a personal workout, for their own personal workout for the team. And coach was like, if you do good here, you're going to get a contract. So went out there, did good. Coach was like, hey, you got to run faster than that. If you're going to get this contract, you got to run faster. These boys out here moving. So I ended up getting a great start finally, and I ran a 4.48, the fastest 40 I ever ran in my life. So I ran that 4.48. Coach was like, yeah. Then lock things down in one-on-ones. And hey, coach was like, yeah, you got that contract. We're gonna see you here when training camp start. I went through training camp with the Utah Blaze, lasted for 3 weeks, and got cut. Played in one of those games. I was a reserve for the first 2 games. I played in that third one, but my knee was bugging me bad in that. My knee was just not working with me. But I wasn't making no excuses, but I was in heck of pain, man, hella pain. So end up getting cut. End up going down to AF2, the Boise Burn. Boise Burn, I played there for 2 years in 08 and 09. That first year I had 9 interceptions and 4 kick return touchdowns, 67 tackles. Led the league with a 25-yard average on returns. That next year I came back again. I was debating whether I was going to go back out to Boise or stay in Chicago. I tried to play with the Chicago team, but coach was like, get your butt back out here in Boise. I got a team. I got a squad. We loaded. All we need is you. You was the reason all these players came. And I didn't understand that, and I was like, well, I'm coming back. Came back that next year. We went 12-4, made the playoffs, won a playoff game, then lost in the second round, game before the championship to Spokane Shock. That year, I had 81 tackles, 7 interceptions, and 7 kick return TDs, as well as 3 defensive touchdowns that year. I earned first team DB and first team kick returner that year in AF2. The next year, the Arena Football League came back, and that left me to make a decision, and I ended up signing with Arizona Rattlers for 1 year. Played 1 season with Kevin Guy and Danny White down there. I had four interceptions, 2 kick return touchdowns down there, but I only played 1 year down there. We lost to Spokane Shock. So when free agency came, I signed with Spokane Shock. They had won the championship and they had recruited me the year before. I could have already been the champion. So I said, I'm going to go to Spokane and win a championship. I went to Spokane for 3 seasons, 2011 to 2014. Had my best career years there, okay? Had my best career years there. My last season, I signed with Jacksonville Sharks. Didn't make it through training camp. I suffered a hip injury and I was in pain. Couldn't make the roster, so they ended up releasing me, and I ended up playing my final season with the Cleveland Gladiators. With the Cleveland Gladiators, I broke my arm. Broke my arm right there. You see that? I broke my arm and came back for the last 2 games of the season. And I thought I wanted to die out on that field. But after I broke my arm, I was like, this is enough pain. I'm not dying out here. So that injury right there was a culmination of Terrence Sanders' football career. Went on, find jobs, try to start businesses, but nothing matched football. Nothing matched that passion that I have for football. I finished my professional career with 434.5 tackles, 36 interceptions, 8,349 kick return yards, and 30 total touchdowns. That's why I call myself Touchdown Terrence. I scored them touchdowns, okay? In my career, I earned first team All-Arena in 2012, 2013, and in 2014. I also got a second team nod in 2012 as a kick returner, okay? I earned the 2012 All-Ironman Team Award. And in 2014, my greatest accomplishment in my league, I got to the top of my league and got the J. Lewis Small Playmaker of the Year in 2014. Today, I just spend my days hosting this podcast for y'all, putting out this delicious, delectable content for you guys to consume, and that I just spend my life as a humanitarian and a philanthropist. I appreciate y'all tuning in to the story, the career chronicles of your host, your man, Sands, baby, aka Sands of Time, Terrence Sanders. Hey, if you love the story of me and you want more, I got more in store. So come on back in. Come back in the door. Whenever you see me on, come back and watch my videos and my pods, okay? Appreciate y'all, returning listeners, new listeners, and everybody that's finding me. You guys have a blessed day, and you know what I like to say around here. I'm going to see you at the top. Let's go.